If you can face chaos and be unmoved, you already won. Here's why detachment erases all problems from your path. Let's talk about it. I've been on this path for a while, but it wasn't until I recognized that the more I removed my focus from external factors, whether it be people, circumstances, or things that I deem as possible problems, when I learned to go within and cultivate an inner practice, whether it's emotional regulating, whether I call it prayer or connecting with the divine, or even going into my inner realm of journaling. When I spend time with myself and I'm sorting through my thoughts and I'm affirming things and I'm writing out visions that I have for myself and scripting. It wasn't until I developed this kind of practice that I realized that the true power is what's going on inside of me. It has nothing to do with the evidence of the senses. It has everything to do with how I exist internally. And emotional regulation is the key. And what does that even mean? Emotional regulation means that when you are triggered by things in your environment, by people in your reality, to emotionally react in a way that keeps you feeling protected and safe. When you allow yourself to come back to center and remove your focus from the situation or that stimulus and not give it your power, you essentially are taking your power back. And when you take your power back, you're able to do what Dr. Joe Dispenza says, is use that power to create your future, to create a future outcome that in essence can be improved or better than what you're currently experiencing. But it's hard to do that when you're reacting, because when you're reacting, you're essentially in the frequency of the problem. And like attracts like. We know that from law of attraction and law of assumption. What you assume to be true, you will essentially cultivate the internal environment of frequencies that matches you to that matter, that collapses time, space, reality, and makes that thing a real thing in your existence. And so you don't want to do that. The more you learn to master yourself and self-regulate, regulate your emotions, aka detach from what's actually happening around you and not make it mean that somehow it's a threat to your existence or to your goals or to you at all. When you learn to do that, when you master yourself in that way, you win. That is the name of the manifestation game. That is exactly what Neville Goddard and all the esoteric teachers, Abraham and Esther Hicks, everyone is trying to teach us. We have to learn how to master ourselves so that we can then focus our energy and attention, because where attention and focus goes, energy flows. And so if every little thing in your environment can catch your attention and ruffle your feathers and get you to emotionally react, remember, emotions are energy in motion. So if you're angry and you're expressing anger, you're putting the frequency of anger in motion through your emotional response. And so anything that you touch and do from that space of anger, whether you're speaking or engaging with someone or even just attempting to do anything, just your thoughts alone, you're doing it from a frequency of anger. And so you got to ask yourself, is this really going to render the results I want if I'm doing it from this frequency? And I can guarantee it's going to be a hard no, because anything that you've ever manifested that you are proud of, and I could really speak for myself on this one, when I did it from higher frequencies, frequencies of love, joy, happiness, wholeness, fulfillment, peace, they were always not only pleasantly, surprisingly, things that I can enjoy and be proud of, but it came in a way that I couldn't predict. And it came in a way that brought joy to me, right? And it came with ease and no resistance. But the things that you force and manipulate out of anger, frustration, and fear, those things you're trying to control. And there's no real power in control. That's the whole purpose of walking the spiritual path, is learning how to surrender, how to walk with the divine, how to trust, right? How to practice patience as you learn to fall into trust. Because when you try to do this stuff alone, when you try to force and manipulate, that's why a lot of people are on the internet scouring for information, because they're finding themselves desperate because every little thing they're trying is not working. Things only work when you allow things to flow. They work harmoniously. You can force and manipulate it. You'll get some traction, but it won't be sustainable. Now you got to micromanage everything. Now you got to try to control and fix and manipulate each and every person involved. That's a lot of energy, baby. You need that energy. You need that energy to create your future. You need that energy to tune into a potential where you're already living that future, and you can't do that if your energy is split, trying to control, force, and manipulate everything around you. But you can do that when you learn to trust, when you learn to surrender, when you learn to detach emotionally from things that are beyond your control, which are people, circumstances, and events that are beyond your control. When you do this, you win. That is the name of the game.